Okay, a few things are exciting to me as helping clients set up their home gym and actually setting up my own gym or setting up my business gym. I owned a facility in Southern California for 20 years. I had a very small facility with a lot of bang for your buck. I had everything everyone needed from 70-year-olds just starting weight training to professional bodybuilders who are looking to get a place where they can work out without getting into a crowd. So I've had plenty of experience setting up gyms, and I also have plenty of experience on going at lots of different levels depending on people's needs. So we're gonna start off with what I think is level one. If you're trying to set up a home gym to get results, get some basic strength training, but you're a little bit on a budget and you maybe don't have a lot of space. And so let's start off with that one. So what do you need for a home gym if you're just starting off and you want to build some strength from home? The first thing is a suspension trainer. I don't really think at any level you can get by without getting a suspension trainer. And so I have multiple that I like to use. TRX would be the most expensive one, but I like these Monkii bars 2 by Monkii. They provide you an opportunity that webbing's not as heavy as a TRX, and so you might feel like, oh my gosh, is this going to support my weight? I can do pull-ups, full body dips on this setup. The bars are nice and strong metal bars so that it'll bear weight. It has the foot straps to do all sorts of hip hinging. And one of my favorite movements, if you've read my blog on like the 5 best exercises or listened to the video for women over 50, is this inverted row. And this inverted row I use almost with 100% of clients to ignite the lats. That along with about 30 or 40 different movements are pretty amazing to do with the suspension trainer. You can anchor that. There's lots of different ways to anchor it. And they have lots of different ways to set it up in your own home or in your garage. If the garage is easier, oftentimes because you have rafters that are exposed. So that's the first thing. Second thing is some banding. Now, monster mini bands, I just don't think you can get by without getting some of this. And you think, if you're new to weight training, think monster mini bands. Well, the monster mini band is a very thick, dense band that provides us the opportunity to do lots of things, from rear delt pulls, which are a common staple in my training programs, especially if people are training at home. You can actually overhead press it if you're on a budget and you can't afford the diversity in weights. You can wrap it around things to do rows with it, shrug with it. Heck, you can even do deadlift variations with this. So if you're on a budget, this is well worth it. They last a long time, especially if you're the only one using it. I would say at my facility, one of these will last me a year with high use. So it's a lot of bang for your buck. The next thing is variable amount of tubing. Now this product here by Spree, this will all be linked down below, guys. So this has three bands that it usually comes with, or 3 tubings that it usually comes with. I'll take off 2 so you guys can see it. And it comes with a cuff for the ankle and 2 handles. So this provides an opportunity for people that are at home. If you stand on the band, you can work your curls, you can work your press, you can also work lots of rotational work by anchoring it. And if you know me, I'm all trying to be efficient. And so if this doesn't provide you with enough resistance, you can actually put 2, 3, or light, medium, and heavy. So you can put them all on there, provide a lot of resistance, and you have that comfort of the handle. So that would be another thing. If you can't afford a set of dumbbells, the tubing can provide that as well. All right, third piece of equipment for just your basic, and this gets a little tricky on the weight, but we'll talk about that. And so this is a kettlebell. In here, I'll show you eventually what kind of kettlebells I have for my facility in my own garage here, but let's talk about kettlebells. So the 2-handed kettlebell swing is one of my favorite movements to do with across all age groups. Now, if you've never done it, you've got to make sure check the link. Again, I'll have all the links for how to do that. They have videos on how to do that. Get some help if you need it. This is what I work with, what I do, so we can help you for sure. So the 2-handed kettlebell swing is really the game changer, and I use that a lot for men, women. Women over 50 get tremendous results by doing the 2-handed kettlebell swing. But I love the fact that you can press this thing, you can row it, you can lay down on your back and pull over, you can do some tricep work, and so it provides a good amount of diversity. The handle allows us to do lots of different movements. Heck, you could even curl this as well. So I usually have people that are training at home on a budget usually buy 2 kettlebells if they can swing it, a light and a heavy. Depending on your experience with weight training, that can vary. With a lot of women, I'm choosing usually 10 to 18 pounds, one 18 pounder. If they have more experience with weight training, then that tends to be more like an 18 pounder and a 26 pounder. And if you're new to kettlebells, oftentimes they're in kilos, so that's why the weight's a little off and you can play around with that as well. Males, very little experience with weight training and just starting off. I'd probably say we start off at the 18 to 26. If they have experience, then I'll usually go 26 and potentially a 35 or 45 pounder. And this gives us the ability to, one, do our swings, do our presses like I just kind of did a quick demonstration, or variations of your squats, goblet squats, and that gives us a nice starting point for that. And again, you're just purchasing 2 kettlebells. On a little side note, if you're struggling to find kettlebells, which is, COVID times here, gives us a lot of challenge, you can make a Hungarian T-handle, and I'll link that as well and make a video about that. This uses free weight and gives you the ability to do kettlebell swings if you can't get a hold of a kettlebell. I prefer to use this for my swings. I'll load this up with plate weight and get a nice heavy 2-handed swing. But this does take a little practice to get to it, but you can make this very easy. Purchasing some equipment at hardware stores. Okay, next piece of equipment if you're just starting off. An exercise ball. Swiss balls is what I used to call them because that's where they came from, little physical therapist. A good exercise ball gives you a lot of opportunities to do ab work, to do stability work, single leg variations of Bulgarian squat, laying down your back, bridging types, hamstring work. And it's a great place to sit if you can't purchase a whole bench, and very, very affordable. So usually I want something bigger than 40 centimeters. If I put this next to me, I'm a pretty short guy. So I want something that's getting, when you inflate it, that's at least as big as your knee, maybe a little bit bigger, so that you can have some diversity to sit on it, and you feel like you can sit in a balanced position with good upright posture. If you're a larger person, you're gonna need a bigger ball to feel like you're in 90 degrees of bend in the knee on it. But an exercise ball, critical, that kind of rounds out level 1 of the stuff that I like to use with clients when they're first starting off in my digital platform. I can get tremendous results. They usually use push-ups as their pressing motion. We use the kettlebells. We supplement with the tubing for presses and things of that nature. All right, after level 1, let's talk level 2 stuff. So one of the first things that I would probably say for level 2 is to start making an investment in either push-up bars or pull-up bar. Now, I have a set of push-up bars that I use in here, but these are nothing more than just safe handles that we use to be able to do our push-ups. And you can make these or you can purchase them, and I'll have the link on that as well. The idea here is that you're getting greater depth on your push-ups. So a lot of my guys always want to work on developing the upper body, and they say, hey, I want to be able to develop my chest and shoulders. Do I need to bench press? And the question is, it depends on where you're starting. If you already have a background of weightlifting, or you're currently working out a lot, sometimes we do need that extra stimulus of handling that load and bench press, and we'll get to that. We'll include links for a good power rack as well. But if you're just starting out, you can get a ton of benefit from doing your push-ups with push-up bars and adding resistance to them, working on different speeds. After all, challenge and the emphasis on range of motion is critical for the push-up. So push-up bars are great. Pull-up bars, let me move you over here so you can see. I've built a pull-up bar in our facility here using galvanized steel. And so you'll notice that I have it anchored above, and this is nothing more. I'll have the link so that you can see the pieces that you need, and then you'll have to anchor it to expose beams. I swing on this regularly, especially as a testing protocol, so that you can see that it's really, really strong. It's not going to go anywhere. It provides us the opportunity to also have a second suspension trainer. I like to use rings. That brings me to my next item, some functional rings. The rings, I just like the rings for a lot of different reasons. First off, the handle is awesome for lots of variations of different motions, right? And so you can adjust that. I have it on my pull-up bar as well. This is also level 2. The rings provide us an opportunity to do lots of different motions, flies, push-ups. I think if I was going to do push-ups to take it up another level for everyone that's getting stronger, I'll use the rings for different variations of push-ups as well. And dips, full body dips on these work really effectively. So just to kind of show you here, if you're not familiar, the push-up, you can also fly on here, ab work, double arm extension. But that gives us an opportunity to kind of specialize a little bit more, but you need an anchoring point for that, right? Now going back to some other pieces of equipment that I like to use, as I start to add a layer of challenge to my clients, and initially, honestly, even level 1, I would probably recommend you get a nice yoga mat. We like the Monkii yoga mat is probably one of the best ones on the market. This provides us an opportunity to, you're doing lots of work laying down. So using your exercise ball, using your kettlebell. So it's nice to have this in here. I have flooring down because we have a bouldering wall here for the kids and the big kids. So it's a great soft spot to do your groundwork. I also would recommend purchasing a yoga block and a couple of myofascial release tools, and these are nothing more than lacrosse balls. Now, if you're not into myofascial release, don't know what that is, that's self-massaging techniques when you're training hard, and I push my clients real hard on their workouts. It's a great opportunity to round out their workout, make sure they're relaxing muscle tissue after their workout and enhancing recovery. So you're laying on these, rolling on these, hitting trigger points. You use the yoga block as well to help postural alignment. So one of my favorite postures to enhance recovery is to lay my clients lie down on their back, work nice deep breaths as well, and relax and go from a sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic. One of the greatest things that we can do for our enhanced fitness is enhanced recovery. And so a yoga block does that. It can help bolster up. You can use a rolled towel. I also use this for balance. You can stand on. In my facilities, I always have some different types of balancing tools, like as I go to the next level, like a wobble board, Bosu, things like that. And so if you're on a budget and you have a yoga block, at least it gives you something that's a little unstable, and that's sort of critical for part of your fitness as well. And so these two items kind of round out level 2. We start to get a little more creative, and you have a little more in your budget on level 2. Now kind of going into level 3, little ab wheel. This is actually very, very cheap, $5 to $10, but I don't like to start beginners on it because it's relatively challenging. So ab wheels are really, really good for training the lats and the abs and some extra tricep work. We're working on extension. Again, this isn't a tutorial, but just to kind of show what we do with that. It does have one function, right? It's that movement. When we take that movement off the knees as well, start on the feet, we can go to the sides to get some oblique wall, but this is a great bracing tool. Now, advanced ab stability is about teaching you how to tighten up your abs. And especially when you're lifting loads or you're looking into being in athletics, whether you're climbing, particularly like we have a bouldering wall here, as you're starting to make a move, your abs have to brace and tighten. They're not crunching into an action. And so this teaches you how to do that. That'll definitely something you can add into your home gym. Also, medicine balls. Now, you might say, hey, you can use your kettlebell for that. Yes, you can use your kettlebell instead of using a medicine ball, but the medicine ball, I love the way it feels. You can throw it across, you can work some power, you can do a lot of your same movements. So as you start to get into level 2 and level 3, and you're increasing the diversity of the stuff that you have, a medicine ball is a great add-in because it gives you the opportunity to do lots of different types of moves, like holding it overhead and lunging, good mornings, like I said, throwing, tossing, the ball can handle it, slams of all type. Now they do make slam balls, and so this brings up another element, which is better. The slam ball is nice because you throw it on the floor, you're not worried it's gonna come up and hit you in the face. But in my experience, I like the traditional medicine ball. It will bounce a little on you, but it feels a little more solid in most people's hands, and they can use it for something other than just throwing it on the ground. That's just my opinion. So I have all the links in there for this stuff, so don't worry, guys. Okay, so that rounds out. Now starting to get into level 3. What else could we use? Well, I'll show you what I have in here up against the wall, but one of the next pieces of equipment is sitting off to the side, just right here, and that's a Bosu trainer. Now this is essentially just like half a ball, right? But this provides us a great opportunity to do lots of different motions, from standing on top of it and doing motions, which vary, single leg standing, which I use a lot to improve balance. Single leg standing is a great way to start to bring in making sure that the back, hip, hamstring, all the posterior chain are responsible for what you're doing. If you're doing an overhead press while standing on one leg, yes, you're losing a little of the potential in your overhead press. But I tend, as a trainer, and I've seen over 30 years of experience, we need to learn to use our body as a system. So standing on one leg and doing a lighter overhead press has a ton of benefits for teaching the body to work, embrace, and control. So the Bosu provides an opportunity to do that. Lots of crunch variations. And then I always laugh because if you look on the bottom of this, it'll always have a warning like, hey, not meant to use inverted. But one of the things that I do is use this sucker inverted for a lot of squats, even single leg stands as well for a lot of my clients. If you are getting used to that, be careful. I always put my clients when they're first starting off next to something they can keep their fingertips on, but it's actually more stable than you think. It's actually easier to balance on this thing, standing on top of this platform, than it is the other way. So the Bosu starts level 3. Add that to your gym if you're feeling like you're looking for some more diversity. Now, let's have a little bit more fun here. And we start adding in more, I want to build more muscle, right? So, or you want more diversity. A lot of people start getting bored. So as we get deeper into level 3 of what a home gym should have, we can talk a little bit about getting your barbells, a heavier barbell, what kind of barbells, what kind of iron you should have. Now, in here, I don't actually have a power rack. In part because I still have a facility in Southern California where my clients go in while I Zoom them here. I moved to Montana. I Zoom them from here while they're standing in my facility. So I left my power rack there, especially since my goals right now don't require me to do a heavy squat. My wife says I'm not allowed to squat anymore. She hates that. It can't fit into my regular clothes. Haha. Anyway, I get lots of heavy pulls off the ground. I can clean a significant amount so I can squat, do front squats, get the bar on my back, and do my squats in that way. But a power rack becomes a critical component for a lot of my guys, depending on, and gals, depending on what they're looking to do. You're broken through, like the weight that you're handling is just not challenging enough, and you want more muscularity, more muscle tone, and so you need a place where the bar is held for you. So a power rack, I'll have a link in that for the power rack that I recommend. I love quite a few. There's lots of high levels, but if you're working at home and you're looking at being able to put on 500 pounds without worrying about it, there are plenty of racks out there that'll do the job without breaking the bank. But in here, let's rotate over, and so you can see what kind of stuff I have in here, and we'll go over that. So one of the first elements is the standard barbell here. It's a 45-pound barbell. I keep that in here, and I keep about 300 pounds worth of bumper plates in here. So that kind of reminds me, like a good 300-pound set with an Olympic bar is probably your best starting point if you're going to broach I'm going to purchase a power rack and we're going to build a good home gym. 300-pound set is actually cheaper than buying them individually. And that includes 245s, 235s, 225s, 210s, 25s, and 2.5s in the bar. That's a great start. But I would also recommend you purchase bumper plates. Bumper plates are the rubber coated plates, and I think you can get by with just starting with a couple bumper plates, so that if you're doing deadlifts or cleans, and if you're doing advanced training and looking to take your training a little bit to another level, you do need be able to do those movements. And then this way it spares your floor and you don't have to purchase expensive rubber flooring, or if you're training inside, dropping weights, even if it's gentle, making loud noises. So a standard barbell, your 300-pound set is probably the next evolution, a power rack. And then now we get into some other toys in here. And so one of the toys is that everyone always enjoys when they walk into a gym is an easy bar. And the easy bar, actually a lot of females will prefer to press with this bar because it's shorter sets them up. Obviously used for curls, obviously used for a little bit of tricep work. The easy bar is easily a critical component for first level 3. I keep one light aluminum training bar in here because I do work with some clients in here, and my facility in Southern California, I also keep a 15-pound training bar. It's great for people just first starting Olympic lifts or cleans. My early middle schoolers are learning to do their Olympic lifts and understanding hip hinging and explosive power with a barbell. This has a limit, so I wouldn't put anything over really 25 pounders on here because it will start to shape the bar a little bit differently. But it's a great add-in if you're adding a light bar and you're trying to get into lots of different movements that are explosive, but the 45-pound bar is just too heavy. Aluminum training bar is a great tool to add into your home gym. The next element we're going to talk about is the landmine. So the landmine is this home plate looking piece of equipment here. As you can see, I brought one of these with me. I have one in Southern California, my facility there. But this allows for angular training. I'm like, oh, what does that mean? So I'm gonna move you guys over so you guys can see. I'll take the bar out so you can see just a few movements if you're not familiar. Essentially, the landmine can take the place of a whole rack of dumbbells. And so if you're not looking to purchase dumbbells can get real expensive real quick. A 300-pound barbell set is pretty affordable if you can find one these days. But the landmine will give you a sense of doing some of the same kind of dumbbell work. And so I'll go over a couple quick movements that you can do. And so I have two. I brought one with me to Montana so I can demonstrate movements. And this allows for angular training. And so it provides us the opportunity to do single arm presses, rotational work for abdominals, rowing actions. Heck, you could even do suitcase variations of deadlifts. You can open up the stance and stand in front of it for deadlifts and squats of all different types. So I love the landmine. If you're looking into getting into a piece of equipment with that level 3 where you're deciding to purchase a little bit more, the landmine is a great add-in because you don't have to get dumbbells. And so that brings me to my next piece of equipment, that's dumbbells. I actually don't keep any dumbbells in the facility here. I left those in Southern California. I have those linked as well. So if you're at level 3 and you're purchasing dumbbells, a lot of my clients will ask me what dumbbells to purchase when they're first starting their workout plan. And so they will start off with 2 or 3 dumbbells potentially and a couple kettlebells. But usually that I kind of wave them off if they can get the 2 kettlebells because I want to establish how long they're going to stay with it. I like to be efficient when they're spending some money, and everyone will end up. You can find them real cheap on Craigslist. The hexagonal steel dumbbells are always being turned over, and so dumbbells of all types. I usually save for like level 3. Once you've made a significant gains, you're looking to enhance it. You can get a couple to start off with, light dumbbells, and then you can make that purchase of getting a set with the rack is usually recommended because it is make it a little more convenient to stack them up. And then from there you can diversify. I keep the next level of kettlebells. If you've invested time, you're now creating strength on level 3 now. We're getting now into your 35, 45, and 52, potentially 64-pound kettlebell for your good swings and lots of different movements, your cleans, your snatches, your Turkish get-ups and you're investing strength. So that would be a level 3 add-in, and that gives us an opportunity to work on diversifying your workout at home. So those are the major elements. I got a few other little pieces in here that I do recommend, and one of those is a diversity in your jump stretch bands. This is one of the last things I like to add in. So this is a multiple banded jump stretch band to work on explosive power. I can anchor this to do on a post, immovable object, or have a person do sprint repeats with you, plyometrics, standing broad jumps, heavy trunk rotations for power and explosive power. And I also keep a lot of these around here. So when I reach a top out limit and I want to go a little heavier than what I have in my facility, these can be draped on bars to add a little bit more elastic resistance to add more difficulty. But I would usually save this type of purchase till you're at that level 3 and you've decided you want to diversify and spice things up. For me, I love the variety, but there are a couple things that I always like. One other element in here that we'll go over in this video is the potential for doing dips. And this is actually can be level 2 or 3. In here, I have a set of dip bars that actually double up as bars that I use for my kids to play on. Dip bars can actually be made by galvanized steel, just like I showed you on the pull-ups. You can purchase a nice set of dip bars, especially if you're at that level 2 and the push-ups are just not cutting it for your development in your pecs, your shoulders, and your triceps. Dip bars are awesome as well, but they are a greater purchase. And some power racks actually come with that dip bar attachment. So it can kind of be a variant where this is level 2 or level 3. But those are my main ideas, guys. This home gyms are extremely fun to build, but you have to decide where you're starting and where you're going, what kind of budget you're on. If you have the budget to go into it, that level 3 with a flooring and a power rack and all your weights and everything you kind of saw here is still very moderate, especially when you're going to a facility that you're sharing space and you're worried about germs. And a lot of the workouts that I design for people are now 15 to 20 minutes. So they can get into their garage, get into their workout room, get the workout done, and go on with their day instead of making an investment, driving to the gym, waiting for a piece of equipment, and driving back, paying a certain amount. This is a one-time purchase to get your home equipment, and you can do it just about anywhere. And now with the onset of digital training, which I do a lot of, you can do it. I can still train you with a simple setup. Use your phone. I can see techniques. And so that's all going to explode. And so I encourage everyone to really go into a home gym, start off with steps and build yourself up. Or if you're ready to take that big jump, well, there's some ideas. If you have any questions, please let me know, guys. I love to do this. Thanks.